Picture this. You have an important task you need to get done, but instead of working on it, you pick up your phone and start checking your messages or even cleaning your entire room. Anything but the task on hand. Hours pass, and before you know it, it's midnight, and the project is due tomorrow. You end up pulling an all-nighter just to barely get it done. Sounds familiar, right? Now be honest. Raise a hand if you've ever done your homework last minute. Maybe even in the car right on the way to school. Yeah, me too. That used to be my routine. I would get the assignment, put it off, and only realize that I need to finish it walking out the door. Eventually, I noticed that this cycle was taking a toll on me. It was stressful, exhausting, and I kept wondering, why isn't there something to help with procrastination? The truth is, procrastination is actually much more common than you may think. Study found that 86% of high school students procrastinated on their assignments. People usually think it's just laziness, but it's not that simple. There's so much more to that. Did you know that humans have been procrastinating for centuries? Ancient Greek philosophers even had a word for it, akrasia. It means doing something even when you know you should be doing something else. Basically, it's procrastination or a lack of self-control. But why do people actually procrastinate? It all comes down to how the brain works. Strong emotions like stress and boredom are processed in the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. And these two are kind of like opposites. The limbic system is like a stubborn 4-year-old who doesn't want to do anything. The prefrontal cortex is the brain's decision-making and planning center. So when something makes you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, the amygdala, which is part of the limbic system, sends out a stress signal that basically says, nope, that feels bad, let's avoid it. And so you do. Another big part of the reason we procrastinate is dopamine, the feel-good brain chemical. When we eat a snack, play a game, or scroll through social media, your brain rewards you with dopamine. That rush of dopamine gives your brain a little boost of happiness, and our brains remember that. So naturally, we want more of it. That's why when we're faced with something boring, difficult, or stressful, like writing an essay, it feels much easier to scroll or play a game instead. Your brain chooses what feels good now over what's important later. And that's one of the reasons procrastination is so tempting. It gives your brain a fast reward, even if it causes more stress later. You may think, even though you procrastinate, you'll still get the work done on time. Your work may not be as good, but it's harmless, right? But procrastination actually has many side effects, like depression, anxiety, insomnia, low self-esteem, and overall poor mental health. Learning that procrastination has been around since the time of ancient Greek philosophers made me realize something. It wasn't just my problem. It's a challenge so many other people face. And it's not about being lazy. It's just about how our brains work. So once I understood why we procrastinate, I started asking myself a new question. What can I actually do about it? And that's when everything changed, because the answer to my question became my project. In the beginning, my quest was going to be about baking. I wanted to make a cookbook, since it's something I love. But while I was researching and planning it, I found myself procrastinating a lot. And that's when my real idea was born. I realized there aren't any things to help people like me, a procrastinator. There's stuff out there, but it's not something that we can easily grab from the green school shop or the library. And there may be some apps that help with procrastination, but a phone is just another gateway to dopamine. That's why I chose to create cards that fight procrastination. At first, I thought I researched and figured out what people do to beat procrastination. But the more I researched, the more I realized I needed real stories. I ended up interviewing more than 20 people, and I listened to their struggles, their tricks, and what works for them. From all that research, I began designing my cards. I added my research-based tips and small actions that could actually help someone get going again. And these two are my two favorite cards. After I finished designing them, I created a form asking people to try my cards for a week. I asked them how often they ended up procrastinating, and if I needed anything extra before I went for the go-ahead with printing. And I got lots of great feedback. Of course, it wasn't all easy. Finding a good printer was tough, sometimes dealing with language barriers and file errors. But in the end, I decided to create two types. One that's sustainably printed, and one that's more affordable, so everyone has a choice. I spent countless hours in the iHub and science lab from measuring to cutting and even to sanding. And although that part was messy, it helped me appreciate how much work goes into making something real. This project has helped me grow a lot as a person because I learned to face my problems head on instead of avoiding them. And yeah, it's kind of ironic, a procrastinator making something to help with procrastination. But maybe that's exactly why I had to do it, because I get it. I know what it feels like to be there, and I know that you don't have to stay stuck. Procrastination affects a lot more people than you may think, and it can really hurt your mental health. My hope is that the Focus Deck inspires others to build better habits and to understand procrastination better. And if you're ever stuck scrolling when you should be studying, remember, I've been there. I know what it feels like to be stuck. But all it takes is one step or card to get back going again. And here's a photo of my finished set. If you would like to come find me after this presentation, I have some still. I would like to end this speech with a quote. When there's a hill to climb, don't think that waiting will make it any smaller. If there's something you've been putting off, finish that assignment and climb that hill. Waiting for the perfect time won't make it any easier. And before I go, I'd like to thank everyone who helped me climb my own hill during this journey. Ibu Angie, Ibu Laura, and Pak Benjamin for being there for me from the start. The iHub team and Pak Andifa for helping me create my wooden stands. MK Printing and Sama Sama Printing for helping me print my cards. Ibu Vicky, who helped me with my speech. Everyone who supported my project and participated in my interviews, my friends, and my parents. And remember, the hardest part isn't climbing the hill. It's just taking the first step. Thank you.